What's up, you guys? It's REM.
And Yodi.
And you're tuned in to deuxsol Radio.
That's right. Your favorite twins are back talking all things music and culture.
Because two takes are better than one, but twin takes are even better. And we're back with yet another episode.
Yes, super excited to be here, especially because today is a great day. We have comedian, writer, content creator, Vayne in the building.
Woo woo!
Hello.
Yay!
It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody.
Thank you for joining us on deuxsol Radio.
I'm honored and excited and ecstatic. Yes.
So we're big fans.
I'm a big fan.
No, we're like big fans.
Listen, you have been responsible for all of my cackles lately.
Yes.
I've been so entertained.
Yeah.
I'm glad my stupid little TikToks resonated.
No, those TikToks are informative, they're hilarious, and they're relatable. And, you know, there are times where I'm like, he just put the words to my feelings and made it hilarious.
I'm going to take these quotes and put it right in my portfolio.
Yes, please do.
Put them in your bio.
Put them on all your bios. We mean what we say. But like we said, you know, you have really shined on TikTok. You know, your content is hilarious and, again, relatable. And we're just excited to get to know who Vayne is.
Thank you. I'm so excited. I love podcasts. I wanted to be into podcasting. You have inspired me to really sort of get into it. So, yeah.
Yes, we're going to have to add podcast host to your title very soon.
You're already on your way.
It's time.
Yes. Already in my mind, I'm already subscribed.
Thank you.
So you have two new subscribers.
Yes.
But yes, like Ariam said, we're super excited to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, we're just gonna chit chat today. Get to know a little bit more about you. Yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, so of course we have a lot of questions for you, but we want to start from the beginning. So take us from the top of your journey.
Okay.
Let's learn a little bit more about Vayne. You know, who were you as a child? What were you like?
Okay, the myth of Vayne. So let's start. So I grew up in the DMV.
I know which we did not know. I didn't know till today.
Yes, I am in Alexandria, Virginia. San, honestly. And so I grew up there, and as a kid, I have an older brother, and we lived with my mom. And as a kid, I was always really loud and really talkative. I was the on the report card. They're always like, okay, he's speaking to the kids too much, because I would get my work done, and they're like, okay, you can't distract the kids. But I'm like, if I have nothing to do, I'm just gonna talk. That's always kind of been my thing. And then in probably 5th grade or 4th grade, I started realizing that if you're funny, people will talk to you. So I was like, I should really focus in on the whole jokes thing. And then through high school, did some acting, but it really wasn't until I got to college when I was like, okay, I can start actually trying to produce content and actually trying to produce comedy, because it's honestly really scary. I've always been a little bit apprehensive to be a full-time creative, just because I don't know, that's just I'd rather have a job. In my mind, I thought I'd rather have a job where I didn't feel like any part of me was on the line. But in comedy, even though it's stupid jokes and fun jokes, it's still you want people to think you're funny. So but in college, after college, I got the sort of the push that I needed, because I was just on the path to be anything but this. And I was like, you know what, I need to actually try for it. And that was after I graduated, and then I went to a different grad school. I dropped out of one grad school very dramatically, and then moved across the country, and then moved to LA for grad school for digital social media, which was interesting, but worth the journey. And now I'm a content creator for an ad agency. I've been making TikToks for 2 years, and I'm just really in my creative zone. It's been really lovely.
Okay.
Yeah, but as a kid, I was loud. I was precocious, and really, really loved content. That was my favorite thing. Tumblr kid, very online, which I think has only helped me.
Tumblr, you said?
Yes.
That was an era.
That was an era. I was very deep into Tumblr. I was a Directioner. Loved One Direction.
Love it.
Sherlock. Yeah.
Yes.
Are you a One Direction fan?
No, it took time for me to register. That's their fandom.
No one said that in years, but
that's what the fans are called. Okay, gotcha.
I was there. Yeah. My Tumblr was actually called Vayne left One Direction, because when the news broke, I remember when the news broke, I was like, okay, I need to get the Tumblr URL, because you have to scramble for it.
Yeah.
So as soon as I heard it, I put it in.
No, that was actually tragic. That was very tragic.
It was
definitely the shot heard around the world.
Was actually my favorite like our good friend in
Same
college
girls
was
are girls with taste. It's true. Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
when our good friend from college, Vera, shout out to Vera, I love you. She was really into One Direction even when we were still in college, and she actually put me on to like who they were, and then I always had an affinity for Zayn. Like I was like his voice.
No, he
his
can
vibe.
sing.
Striking.
So when he left,
He's
it was
handsome,
sad.
obviously.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know they're all doing their amazing things.
Obviously, Harry won album of the
Album
year.
of the year. I was just obsessed with them. I was like, my friend, I was in high school, and my friend was like, you need to see this music video. And it was the Kissy music video. From that moment on, I was like, okay, I'm obsessed with this. I'm obsessed with them.
I love it.
I love Zayn, I love Harry, and I love Niall. I actually saw Niall.
Niall's talented too. Niall's got a voice.
I saw his solo show. He
Yeah.
was great.
Aww.
He was good.
I love that.
I love that you give them all, you know, your support, separate or united.
Yeah, well, okay, I will say, unfortunately, I think I like Liam now, but I used to be a Liam and Louis hater. But
Did you hear
there's no
about the
space for
interview
hate.
he did
There's no space
about
for
how
hate.
he was supposed to be? He was supposed to be basically the lead.
He was like when
yeah.
they made it like on X Factor, he was like the lead guy.
But I never got that from him.
I know that was like the tragic part. Like they like set it up. Like imagine like they make this whole group. They're like, you're gonna be the leader, and then everyone's like, who's that one in the back, Mr. Harry, Mr. Zayn? It's like, yeah, I would be mad.
But
too.
honestly, they're all so talented.
They are
Yeah,
talented.
they are.
Like,
They are so
especially for
talented.
just being like random people.
Yeah.
And like
are
honestly,
talented.
I've been doing this. Sorry, it's totally off topic, but I've been doing this deep dive on like boy bands like lately because I've been targeted with like content from like NSYNC days and Backstreet Boys,
Iconic.
and it just takes so much to be in a boy band. So let's just show some love
Yes.
to people
Much
that are
respect to
in
anyone
a
in a boy
boy
band.
band
Yes.
girl group. Like that is like you have to put so much energy into it. So much respect.
And a lot of humility.
Yeah.
I am way too conceited to be in a boy band. I could not do it. Like
It definitely, you have to really be a team player.
yeah.
You know, you
and
have
play
to,
your role. Like, are you the like? You have to be like, either,
especially
like,
if you're not, if you don't have like the strongest voice, you know, the
Mhm.
voice that really will always be associated with the group.
Yeah.
You know, that is it. Humble and really the best team player.
Yeah.
I think
Seriously.
honestly, like I really, if like more boy bands and girl groups start to develop, I really want to see more groups where everybody has a solo. Like everyone is getting.
Yeah.
I think
Because
Destiny's
I
Child
feel
does
like-
a good job with
Yeah,
that.
Destiny's Child did a great job of doing that, and Vogue did a really good
Yes.
job.
Yeah.
And Vogue was
Yes.
actually, to me, like the one group I felt like that understood the assignment, and they were also talented that you didn't know who the lead was.
That's
So
important,
I kind of,
yeah.
I hope we get that more of that kind of energy with future groups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Flo's doing that. Like Flo's probably
Flo,
they're really doing that. Like
they
where
are
it's
a
like
great example.
talent.
Yes, I
Beauty.
love Flo. First of all,
And they harmonize together
Ugh.
so well.
Iconic.
yes,
So
their
well. So
harmonies.
they're definitely, I see a big future for those ladies. They're doing an
Yes.
amazing
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
But yeah, love where we're going. But we need to talk more about you, Trey.
Okay, yes, yeah, okay, yes. Me,
I know we can go off tangents all day, every
I
day.
can talk about myself all day. I really
So-
can.
Trey's ready.
Okay, this is perfect. So we have the right guest today. You said that you've always been a fan of content, but when did you decide, like, I'm going to start creating content and posting it to this online world? You know, when did you
Yeah.
decide this was it?
So I always kind of like dipped my toe into it. Like in high school, Vine, RIP, love you.
Vine.
Like I was really, really obsessed with Vine, and then I finally like got up the courage to like try making Vine. So this was probably like senior year, and then like 2 weeks after I made my first Vine, it shut down. So I was like, oh my
It
gosh,
was short lived.
it was short lived,
but it was impactful.
It changed culture, changed the world on fleek. Like yeah, it's really there.
Yeah.
And then so after when that happened, I was like, wow, like you really can't wait for your opportunity. I was like, you think Vine's here there forever, and it just didn't work out.
Mhm.
And then I just didn't do anything. I like tried like a short-lived YouTube era. Although I think it's important for everyone to try a YouTube era, and it was fun, but like, it wasn't the right type of content that I really wanted to make. Like,
Mhm.
and then I heard about like this thing called TikTok, and then I was like, oh, is that what was it used to be called? Musically, and I was like.
Musically,
I was
yeah.
like, okay, Musically's not for me. Like, it's not it. And they were like, no, TikTok's like a little bit more expanded. And then in 2018 or 2019, I started really looking at TikTok. And this is when it was still like the Badlands era, where it was still like kind of cringy, where it's like when they
People
thought it was
didn't-
just like
yeah.
teens
People are like,
lip-syncing.
oh, this is what like the younger crowd is
Right,
doing.
Right.
Like,
And I was like telling my friends, I was like, everyone, no, you've got to get on TikTok. It's like not, I used to think it was Vine's replacement, but it's really surpassed it. I really think TikTok is like
oh,
the best social media.
absolutely.
It's amazing. It's like so funny. And then when I saw TikTok, and I was like, okay, I can't let this like pass up again. I should try making content. And then in quarantine, I started making some stuff. Like really when I moved, because when I had this like basically I was in a grad program for higher education, and I was only there because I got a scholarship and they were paying for everything. And I was like, you know, I don't want student loans. Like I'll just do this and like start my life after I graduate. And then I just really hated the program so much. And I was like, I'm wasting so much time. Like I need to start doing what I need to do, because in college, the best part was I went to NYU, and like it's a lot of artistic people. I mean, sure, it's a lot of artistic people at every college, but at NYU specifically, you know, it's a lot of like people with stars in their eyes and people just really doing the damn thing. And it was just so inspiring. And I was just sort of soaking that in for 4 years. And I was like, you know what? I can like make the choice, make the change. And then I was like, well, I have to start by posting. Like nothing happens unless you post it.
Exactly.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, I started to do a little posting, and then I posted a video on Twitter of like, it was like a POV about going to a PWI, and there was like an overzealous white student. It was just like a joke about how like at NYU, right? Like it's a lot of like there's sections for everything, and obviously we want acceptance, but there's like those funny people who are like almost so not accepting it. It's almost like a white guilt thing where it's like, you know what I mean? Like you go to class and they're like, oh, you're just such a queen, like you're a legend. Like, and it's like, I feel like you're not talking to me like as a person. So it was like a joke about that, and it like went super well on Twitter. And then I just got the confidence to keep posting and posting. And TikTok is just like the easiest thing to post to, because they serve you the ideas. You don't have like, you can just think, you don't have to think of the sound or the words. You can just put in your own experience.
Yeah.
And I've just really been having so much fun doing it. Yeah.
I love that.
You honestly look like you're having fun.
I am having so much fun. I am.
Because sometimes you'll come across all creators on your For You page, right? And sometimes like you can tell like this person is, you know, they plan to do this. This is their concept, and it's very like, you know, organized, and there's a lot of thought going into it. But when I come across your videos, I just feel like you're having so much fun. There's not a lot of, you make it seem so effortless, I should say.
Thank you.
Right? It's kind of just like
comes very naturally.
I really try to do that. I mean, like I'm trying to like in my 2023 new era, I'm trying to get more of the calculated, because I'm such an in the moment creator. Like I can only create when I'm like, I have the idea in the moment, I can do it.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get to a place where I have more maybe thought into it, but it's been nice recently where it's like, but that is the kind of content that I want to make. Like I like that carefree, like you feel like it's your friend just sharing like a joke or their experience or a vlog or something like that. And then it helps with like comedy and TikTok too.
Right.
Because you can't like, you can just be really spur of the moment. But you know, I'm trying to always branch out and try new different things. So hoping to do more like video essay type things, or like, you know, really like, you know, like get my ideas out there in more of a coherent, cohesive way. But I am enjoying just putting up my phone, doing my stupid little sounds, my stupid little jokes. It's fun.
So basically your process is more like in the moment.
It really is. Like it's really like, I mean, I have like a a note on my phone that's like 500 different like random ideas that I have that I just wrote down one day. But it really is like, I'll see a sound or like I'll see a video and I'm like, okay, this could be funny, and I just do it like right then and there.
I love that.
Yeah.
You just have a way of processing culture, and like your POV is very unique, and then you're able to take whatever cultural conversation is happening, trending audio, whatever that is, and then you end up interpreting it in a way that makes sense for your voice. And I feel like it really does come to life.
That is the nicest compliment, because I've told myself like when I started creating, because it's like, you know, like there's a lot of ways to get to the top of the mountain with creating. And a lot of the time, a lot of people, you know, rage always works. And like, I feel like a lot of people on the internet, and there's no problem, but like, you know, their whole thing is like you know, there's people on TikTok who like, they'll be like making a s'more, and it's like, they like pour a whole thing of, you know, like you do a lot. I always tell myself that like, I wanted to like get wherever I wanted to get by making like authentic, like interesting sort of nuanced content, if there is like any POV on there, because it would be so easy to get on and be sort of like a troll and like get people really like riled up and upset. But one, I don't have time for that energy. Like I'm a blocker. Like I barely, if there's even like a slightly like weird comment, I will just block you. Like I don't have time for that. And like the people who make their careers like steeping in that, I respect it. Like, you know, it is entertainment and they are doing that, but I just always wanted to keep it like, I never wanted anyone in my life to look at my content and be like, he's doing a lot for what? And like, that's not him.
Right.
So I'm trying to like really be me.
Yeah. I don't ever get that vibe with your content.
Really,
Cause I feel like now, like people that are on TikTok, if you're on it enough, you can kind of sense when it's not the case, when it's very genuine and authentic. And then you can sense where people are just trying very hard for, virality, and it just gets in the way. For me, it gets in the way of my experience. I will swipe up. Like, I'm like, this is not what I came here for. Like,
but at the same time, though, what's interesting about TikTok is like there's a niche for everyone. There are people that love, those wild moments, and then there are people that are just like us. I will just swipe up. But then, I mean, there's a pocket for everyone.
There is an audience. There's an audience for everyone.
I would honestly love to know who the people are in the world who love pranks. I hate prank content, and I think it's so awful. And I'm just curious to know, like, who's fueling these what is it, the people at the mall with the microphones and
the man on the street.
Yeah. I mean, some of those can be really funny.
No, those are, but then sometimes I'm like, are they bothering people?
I know when they're like prank, when it's like it's just harassment. I don't think it's a prank.
There's a very fine line.
Yes. Oh my
you can
gosh.
just like, I don't even know.
And when people blow up, they're like, it's a prank, bro. It's like, okay, well, now that prank is getting your ass beat.
I literally today I was just kind of curious because I was like, I usually don't stay on it too long, but there's this girl recently, like, she approaches this other girl and she goes like, oh, are you so and so? Like, you try to fight my sister? Like, I'm gonna fight you. And then the girl was like, no, I don't know you. Like, I don't know who you're talking about or whatever. And then the girl tried to step, and she didn't realize that the other girl that she tried to prank was taking it seriously. She's like, oh, she started taking off her clothes. I mean, not taking off her clothes,
about that life.
Taking off her, like, her bag. She's like ready to wreck. And she's like, it's a joke. I'm like,
you can't do that, though.
You never know. You never know
who you'll come across.
Exactly. What do the ancient scrolls say? If you fuck around, you just might find out. And that's okay.
Period. So, as we talked about earlier, you are a full-time content creator. So, I know when people, engage in the space, it could just be something that's like a pastime. When did you realize that this could be a legitimate career for you?
I think it took me so long. Like, I feel like most people in my life knew that this is what I could do before I did, just because, I don't know, it's like such a massive leap. And I, like, in my mind, like, I've never thought that I was like the entrepreneurship type naturally.
Right.
Like, my mom is very much an entrepreneur. Like, she's like a boss, go. And like, I definitely have like direction and I can, lead and whatever, but I've never been able, like, I've always been able to work better for other people than myself. So I've always like, okay, the biggest hurdle is figuring out like, I need to just invest the most into me. And then I think when I first got to college, it was not in my mind at all. Like my first 2 years. And then after like my second 2 years, I was thinking like, like that's when I was starting like testing the waters. I'm like, okay, people are responding to this. Because that's like the hardest part about content creation anyway. It's like, you don't know if people are going to respond. And like, I was like, okay, well, people are responding. And I was just thinking about like, I had a moment where I was like, okay, like in your life, like it's hard to know how you come off. But I'm like, it's actually not that hard. Because it's like, you have to think about what people like the most about you. And I was like, well, everyone always says that I'm funny. And everyone says that, I do funny things and I can edit and I can write. So I'm like, I think I can. And then when I just had a moment when I was just watching a lot of stuff and I was like, you know what? A lot of this stuff is funny and a lot of this stuff is not funny. So it doesn't matter if my stuff's that funny or not.
Right.
But then it wasn't until I like got to grad school when I was like, you know what? I'm just going to have to figure this out anyway, because it's sort of hard to like figure out because I always knew that I kind of wanted a 9-to-5.
Okay.
Like not like a 9-to-5 per se, but I
security
knew that I didn't want to like just jump into like, being a full-time content creator with 60K on TikTok, which does not pay like at all. And then when I was like looking on like when I was looking for like my first full-time job, I just put in content creator. And then thankfully, serendipitously, in this time in the world, content creator is becoming like a mainline job at advertising agencies and like different media. Now, of course, every brand wants to be on TikTok. So in grad school, I was doing like sort of freelance social work for different companies. And so I was like, okay, wow, I can be employed from my voice and POV on social. And then so it really was like at like 22. And I was like, you know what, let me just do this full throttle, full time. So it's still like in the infancy of it. But now I feel like I've finished the first phase of like, well, now I know that I can believe in myself. Now I know that I'm ready to bet on myself. So now it's about like finding out and maximizing who I am as a professional.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, speaking about this, you were recently featured in Business Insider.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. for the article titled, "These are the 35 rising stars of Madison Ave who are revolutionized advertising in 2022." First of all, congratulations. That's amazing. That is amazing. That's a big deal. But also, how does that make you feel to know that the content that you're making is literally shaking up an industry?
It's honestly really like it was just such an honor and like so sort of unexpected, and I think that revolutionizing is nice and maybe pushing it, but it is like it is a change in the fact
I wouldn't
that
downplay that.
You're right.
I would not downplay that.
I'm accepting everything and just speaking
embrace
in 2023. Yeah, we're done with
But it's not
coyness
even
is
that.
done
It's
in
like
2022.
what you said earlier. Like every brand wants to be on TikTok.
Yeah, and it's just really cool to be like, sort of in a new bridging era. And the company that I work for, I was one of the first 2 hires in the content creator space. And so it just feels cool to know that like the world's coming around to it, and it's like an exciting future of like what career paths can even look like for content creators. Like maybe we don't have to be completely beholden to analytics and like our community all the time. Maybe it's like we can help other people have their voice and then do our fun content on the side. So it's just really, it feels really nice. But I guess I'm also not that surprised because like we said, like I realized a couple of years ago that every brand wants to sound like a cool queer young Black person on the internet. That's the voice of like every brand.
That is very true.
And it's when I realized that like, oh, like I have the voice or access to the voice that every single brand like wants to sound like, maybe minus the big legacy ones. But like everyone, when they say like we're gonna sound like cool and hip, they mean that's like they want to like sound like a young like Black creative, basically. Because that's like the language of the internet, that's the language of TikTok. So it's just been really cool to see that everyone's like sort of like seeing that now. And I hope that what follows is, a lot more opportunities, a lot more elevation, and a lot more sort of just nuance in how brands can even show up online.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be this like a brand seems like a person. It could be like this brand just have people who communicate everyone loves a spokesperson.
And you're just like amplifying that voice.
And being a spokesperson.
Yeah. Because I feel like, like you said, like everyone wants to tap into that voice, but as long as it's done responsibly, where people from the actual community are actually involved, I think that makes a huge difference. And I think you have that awareness that I feel like will serve you well when you're engaging with brands or larger, teams to tap into that. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was just such a great honor. And anytime I can make my mom proud, I'm really into it. So she was really stoked about that. So
that's amazing.
Really cool.
That's a big deal. Big deal.
Thank you.
It is.
You should be proud.
I am proud. It's an Instagram highlight of my little 23. It was great. I'm not 23. Oh my gosh, I'm 26. Never mind. It was my 26-year-old highlight.
It's okay. So you said that you are a content creator full-time as your full-time job, but you also create your own content on the side. Do you ever find yourself in like a content rut or like a creative block?
Yeah, and it's interesting. I think it's important to like diversify the type of content you do. Because well, thankfully, like for my job, like it's just such a, since it's like like an agency and it's just such a big machine, and like our clients just are, it's not as much of a rut because that's such a specific thing where it's like we get briefed, we are ideating on one thing, and it's like not our voice, it's like, the brand's voice that we're making. So that usually is like, it's honestly just really exciting. It's always different. Like, we get to do something. It feels like we get to do something new like every 2 weeks. So that's nice. But in my personal content life, like I do a lot because it's like with TikTok, right? Like it's all about consistency. We know this.
Right.
And like, I don't know. It just takes me a lot of energy to write things. And like, I feel like in TikTok, it's like half writing, half of the moment. But like, it's always like, sometimes I'll even have an idea that I'm inspired by, but I'm like, I wanted to make it the best possible, but I don't have the creative bandwidth to. But luckily, I'm in a place now where on TikTok, that's a lot of like, if I'm just not inspired, I'm just not going to force it. Like I just either the sound a cool sounds around or not, and I realized on TikTok like there really is an ebb and flow. Like sometimes there's just not that many trends or things to talk about and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then on my Instagram story, I a year and a half ago, I was like, you know what? I haven't seen that many movies, and I wanted to like sort of get that going. So I started like watching movies and documenting on my Instagram story, and my friends like loved it. And like my friends obviously like are all super amazing, supportive of like my TikToks and comedy, but I've never had people in my life respond better to these movie reviews. So I started doing that on my story, and I've kept that on my story. And like I've tried to like move it to TikTok, but whenever I have like a creative rut, I just go to that because that's like so much fun for me. Like to like watch, and it's like inspiring to like see other people's art and see how they're creating, but also not feel the stress, feel the gratitude of making content
from like scratch.
Right. And like feeling the gratitude of making content and connecting with people without feeling like I need to hit like, is this TikTok a flop?
Right.
So yeah. So I feel like having the different outlets where you can still feel creative as much as possible without like, I also have taken the pressure off to be like, if I can't come up with anything, I'm just not gonna do anything.
Right.
It's gonna be fine. Like no one's gonna die.
I love that. I love that you found that alternative like opportunity for yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's what's gonna help with maintaining the authenticity in your content, because if you're enjoying it, then it really comes to life. And you know, you get a motivation.
And people can see that.
Yeah, people can feel that.
It's really palpable, I think.
Yes. You can sense it for sure. So Ari mentioned, you know, like any creative blocks, but I'd love to know if there's any misconceptions that you think there might be to being a content creator.
Yeah, I would say, I think one of them is like, you don't have to, I think I was touching on this earlier, like you don't have to piss people off to make it. It definitely makes like controversy drives everything, but you really like, if you are a person that like just has, A, you don't have to piss people off. That's like the small thing. But I think B, the most important thing is the only thing that makes content interesting is if you're interested in it. Like people love looking at things about people are interested in. Like I know for a fact, like why I love TikTok, it's like I could find someone, like there's a person on TikTok who like does vintage dress thrifting and like very vintage, like from like the 20s or something. And they just have a whole, like I just watch, like I could watch 2 hours of them going through every little dress of everything they love. And like, I'm not a person who's that much into fashion. I don't wear dresses. Like, I don't know about antiques. But like, the sole fact that this person is so about it and like so into it makes it really interesting. So I think people have the misconception that they have to be into something interesting, where it's like anything you're into is interesting just hearing you talk about it. And like, that's what you should share. And like, that's what people would really like connect the most to, especially on TikTok. Like, on YouTube too.
So true. Yeah.
And on YouTube too. So that's the biggest misconception, that people think they need to have like a massive skill or be in something like, you know, I'm the only, like the first, you know, XXXX thing. And it's like, no, you can just be like really into something so mundane. But if you are really into it, if you're about it, if you can talk about every aspect of it, people are going to eat it up every single time.
There's this one account, speaking of that, there's one account that I stumbled across, and it was this woman that basically her TikTok popped off because she does art by carving out like shapes and sculptures out of avocados. So she like,
there you go.
So basically her followers or folks that like comment will be like, can you do a Christmas tree? And like she'll make a Christmas tree out of like an avocado.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that.
She has like millions of followers.
I'm not surprised, because it's like, you know why? Because she
avocado art. Who knew?
Avocado art. Who knew? And I'm sure she probably does it very consistently. And she's like very interesting, and it's like it's also just like funny. Like when have you ever seen avocado art? Like I've never seen that.
Exactly, and it's platforms like TikTok that allow
the best.
I love it.
Seriously. So you have millions of likes and thousands of followers, and on top of that, how TikTok works is you post it, and someone who doesn't follow you can, you know, see your content. With that type of exposure, does it make you have to think more about what you're going to post before you post it? Do you feel like you have to be more intentional? Like, what does your thought process look like?
Yeah, that's actually been a very interesting journey since I've like started posting, because like I like didn't realize how like even a video with maybe only like 5,000 likes can really like somehow make it to everyone in your life that you've known before, which is interesting. But I think I'm usually not that stressed, because like I said, like my entire philosophy on content, it's like, I'm just trying to get to have a good time, have a laugh, and maybe like say something. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm never like, oh my gosh, I hope, you know, it's not like I'm like a, you know, like a secret, like militant, like fascist. You know, I'm everything that I would say on the internet, I would say to people. But it's been really interesting to see like, okay, so there's only been one time when I've gone like viral for like the wrong reasons, but it was honestly really exciting. But like I went to I just got the job that me and Yodit were ex-coworkers at. She's on to bigger and better now. But I just got
R.I.P.
R.I.P. But I just got this job and I went to a restaurant in DC called Mita, and it was like a multiple course dinner. And one of the courses was like they pour chocolate on your hands because it's supposed to be like you feel like a kid or something. I don't know, but they pour chocolate on your hands and you rub together, and you're already like,
I don't think I would want that.
And I didn't think anything of it, but I was like posting about it on my Instagram story, and then literally out of no, like 14 of my friends were like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was like, "Okay, I have to post this on TikTok then because people think it's crazy."
Yes.
So I posted it on TikTok. The next day, I'm on Twitter. Someone's like, "Wow, like." Rich people shouldn't have money. It shouldn't be this easy to like pull a sucker on you. You niggas. I got called a coon. I got crazy. And I was like, oh my gosh. But it was also so funny because it's like, you know, like rival Raiders, you have no context. And this was like, people thought that I went to a restaurant. And also I had a white sweater on, which sent people over the edge because I had like chocolate on it. They were like, I got posted on Reddit, like, this is not a plate. But it was really interesting because because like, and then everyone in my life was like, oh my gosh, you're getting dragged. But it was like, you know, when you post a video, you don't know where it's going to go. And like, usually,
that's very
even
true.
when like videos go like very, like I have videos that like can have like 250,000 likes on TikTok. It never leaves TikTok. Like this video had like 10K on TikTok. It was Twitter. I was tagged in Jamaican meme pages. They tore me up. They tore me up. They tore me up.
Jamaican meme?
I know. And I was just there. And then all I did was this and lick my hands. People were like, this was insane. But like, you know, you just never know.
You broke the internet. You did.
You heard out Kim Kardashian. But you just never know where it's going to go. But that's also the fun part. And it's also where I'm like, it also reinforces my thought that like, you know, not only should you not film anything you don't want out there, don't post anything that you aren't willing for everyone in your life to see. Because it's just, it will get there.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way.
Yeah.
It'll get there.
Yeah.
I think that's really good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then, like, once you feel good about what's out there, like, there's nothing that could rile you up.
Right. Yeah. And then now it's like a really like a fun story. And like, I don't know, like I still look at the comments, they're really funny. But thankfully, luckily, like, I put on my little PR hat and I did turn it around. I made a full video later explaining the context, and everyone who saw that video was like, okay, we get it. Like, congratulations on the new job. It just was crazy for a second. But it was fun. It was exhilarating. And I can't wait for it to happen again.
You had a moment.
I love the PR hat.
I had a moment.
I was like, damage control.
Damage control. I was like, let's get the full story out there. Let's get the full scoop out there.
Let's get the full context.
But like that damage control is so funny because it's not really damage control. It's just clarifying. Like,
and that's the other thing. That's why it was fun because it was not like, you know, like I
it's
just
not like
went
you
to a
said
restaurant.
something
I didn't
like
have to like defend
insulting.
my honor.
Yeah, you don't have to defend your honor. You didn't have to like cry on camera or anything.
Yeah.
You know, it was
No
just
notes,
like
apology.
this is just a restaurant I went to.
Right. But it was kind of like a badge of honor. It's like being inducted to the internet because no one leaves in it unscathed, and I'm glad I got my little wax. And it was cool. It was cool. It was funny.
I'm living for this. Okay, so
that was funny. I'm sorry.
Wait, I love it. So obviously, we just got a sense of the energy that you're putting out with your content, right? Intentionally and unintentionally, but it's all positive. But if there's one thing that you could tell the audience, like, what's one thing you'd love for them to take away from any piece of content that you've put out?
That's a great question. I think, okay, so this kind of goes to like my content philosophy, and like I think I like, not as a creator, but when I started really getting into like consuming content was like, it just makes you feel really good. Like it's just such a great, like I'm a person where it's like, you know, I'm an escapist consumer where it's like I watch things to like focus in on something about, you know, anywhere else in the world, not even in a bad way, just like out of interest. So I just want people to like go on my page, I don't know, just like a sigh, a laugh, a chuckle. It's always about a laugh,
a cackle.
Yeah, a cackle, if you will, if it's possible. But like I learned at a very young age that like laughter is like, first of all, nothing like makes people like you more. Everyone wants to be around people who make them laugh. So I just want people to be like, wow, that was I had fun. I like forgot about something for a second, or I just was in it and it was just like a moment where something funny or clever happened. Or like information. I've been like trying to dip into like I've been giving like conversation tips, or like, you know, like we have as people and with our experiences, I feel like we have so much knowledge of, you know, the things that come easy to us, or like things that people would pay to learn about. So just sharing more about that. So if people learn something, if you can learn something and laugh, that's like the best takeaway from the
essentially
TikToks.
just a positive experience.
Yeah, like just makes you feel good. Like,
and I'm here for that.
That's what I want to do. Like,
I'm here for that.
I do like, you know, getting riled up with the internet. I like getting mad. I like looking at, you know, the tired Twitter arguments about who should pay for dinner or gay son or thought daughter. It's interesting, it's funny, but like at the end of the day, like I'm here for a laugh and a chuckle.
A good time.
Yeah, because it's like we don't have to be on our phones at all. So why would I be like, like no one's forcing me to be online or on the internet, so I'm just gonna have fun, Mom.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I get with your content.
Yes.
So I think your philosophy is consistent.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I try.
Yes. You succeed.
Thank you. Yes, success.
Do you have a piece of advice for someone that wants to become a content creator but may not know where to begin?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, it's true. You can't do it unless you post. You have to post. You have to film everything. Like on my phone, like I have like no joke, 15,000 videos of like, sometimes I'm like, I just film like my life. I'm like, maybe one day I'll do a vlog. I just haven't. But like, like you have to film everything. You have to post things. Learn how to edit. It's not as hard as you think. Like just get on Premiere. And if you make content, you're going to learn, like, I taught myself to edit on Premiere, but only through like just making content. Every time I wanted to do something, you have to look at how to do it. Like, so just post it, just post it, just post it. There are no stakes at all. Like, and I mean, it's true. Like when you make
can you
content,
say that again?
There are no stakes at all.
Thank you.
No stakes.
I think that's so important for people to know because I feel like people get caught up in what people will think about their content or perfection. So I really appreciated you saying that because I think people think that the stakes are higher than they are. And
like you have to realize that people respect people like you two who put themselves out there, put themselves in front of a camera on a couch. Like people respect that. But I still, think about all the time, like think about all the time about dating. I'm like, like being a content creator is probably not the best. Like it is something inherently cringe about that, but I like cringe and I like being into it. And like, cringe. and there's nothing like anything cringe. If you own it, people love it 10 times more. And I still think about all the time about how cringe it is to like, post. I still don't I rarely post my TikToks on my Instagram, but like I'm getting over that because that's the only way to get to the place where people respect you for what you've created because you just have to keep creating it and keep posting it and find your cadence and attack it like a pop star where you're always reinventing yourself, always find your new sound. Like I think that's super important too. Like, like don't go into one thing, try different things. And
I just love what you said, attack it like a pop star.
Attack it like a pop star. Think about your brand, think about your eras, think about your reimaginings. Like,
Yes, I love that. So speaking of reinvention, as your audience continues to grow and as you continue to put out more content, what does the future look like for Trey?
I know. I need to get my shit together. The future looks like one, a podcast. Like I had a podcast that I launched like twice, but I'm just so, like I said, I'm just bad at producing myself. But now that
you're already doing it though.
Yeah.
You're doing it on a smaller scale, but you're doing it.
Right. I am doing it. I have the skills. I just need just to do it. But I would love a podcast, and my podcast is called Prattle, and it's about you. And I invite someone on to talk about something, like I was saying earlier, like that they love so deeply. But like like for example, if you're someone who's like I don't know, really into American Girl dolls, apparently there's this whole universe of like lore and like there's like a lot to dig in. Like if you're 26 and you love American Girl dolls, there's not a lot of space for you to like talk about that. But like this podcast would be like where you can come on and talk about something that you love because there's nothing more interesting than that and like be able to like sort of get it all out. So podcast would be great. Second being like I really love my movie reviews. So like doing something with that and thinking about like I tried one video essay, it's on my TikTok and it was pretty good, but I'm really bad at being consistent with like franchises of stuff that I do, like really bad. But doing that would be great. And I think the like big main goal is like I love hosting. I love like in front of camera, like mic work, like whatever works. So like hosting, I can see myself hosting a game show or like I mean like I can't like 10-year plan is like 10-year, no, let's say 10. Is like late night show would be great. Like that would be so fun. Like the banter, the jokes, like the talking to people, that kind of stuff. So I've always said I want to get paid for smiling and running my mouth. So however I can get there would be great. But I think in the near future, it's definitely like hunkering down on an truly ownable big content thing for me, either the podcast or the what's it called? The podcast or the movie reviews.
Yes.
And in my personal life, I've been saying also like I feel like being an adult, it's really important to have like things for you in the real world. So I'm like, I want to start like stand up or drag. I can't tell which one I want to do. Maybe both at the same time.
Yes. I can see you doing stand up. Absolutely.
I really want to try that. I really, really, really like just need to get my ass on an open mic.
Yes.
So that's like,
I feel like all of these things, they're gonna lend to themselves.
Yeah, and it's like a symbiotic.
And you're already like, you're producing yourself. You're already there. You're building that online community.
Right.
I think the podcast would, give you that experience with, having guests and like having that banter.
Yeah. And I feel like
you're already on your way. You're already on your way.
And I'm sure you two feel the same way. Like when you like make something, like you put it out, like no matter what happens, it just feels amazing to look back. Like I'm sure like now you have like a season, you're gonna have seasons of things of like you like talking to cool people and like being with each other. It's just like amazing. That's also the other thing I'd say about people about content. Like if you don't make content already, like it is the best like pick me up ever. Like it's so cool looking back on things you've done, like seeing you throughout the years. Like I like started like really vlogging when I was in college, and I love those videos. Those videos are my favorite things ever because it's like a moment in time that's like so gone. You don't realize how quickly things change.
Yeah, and it's a great way to like track the journey.
Yeah,
and kind of see how far you come, and like also like have some sort of like tangible recording of where you were.
Amazing.
Where you once were.
Yeah.
So it's like a diary.
It's
exactly.
Like a diary,
Yeah, but I'm so excited for your future.
I'm excited too.
Listen, we are speaking everything up in this room.
Yes.
So don't forget us when you blow up.
When you got that late night show. Okay.
Yes.
First of all, it's gonna be the deuxsol and Trey.
Yeah. Take over, baby.
Take over.
Yes. No,
TV,
super
give
excited.
Us 2 hours. We'll make it work. I promise.
No, but the future is so bright. I can already see it now, and
ready.
We're just so glad that you joined us today.
This
today
was
was so
lovely.
Fun.
Yes, thank you all for contributing to the culture, keeping your pulse on the culture.
Thank you. And thank you for doing the same.
I feel honored. Thank you so much.
So that actually wraps up this interview. But Trey, if you want folks to keep up with you, to join your online community, drop your @
Yeah, so you can follow me on TikTok at Trey Vayne Bitch, but the I is an X. So TREVAYNE BXTCH. And on Instagram, it's Trey Vayne Bitch. I don't know why I put bitch in there. My professor in grad school was like, "You're never gonna get hired with that name." And I was like, you know what?
You're on Business Insider.
I don't work at a company that's whack enough to be afraid of the word bitch. So I'm keeping it. But on TikTok, I had to change it because I was getting shadow banned. But the X is cool.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, content creators, X it out.
But follow me on the TikTok. That's probably the funniest, most interesting. But if you like movies and you like this cutie right here, follow me on Instagram.
Yes.
Trey, thank you so much. This was such a fun chat.
Thank you.
This was amazing.
Yes.
Lovely.
Well, that wraps things up. If you guys like what you saw, you can keep up with deuxsol Radio at DEUXSOL on all socials, and you can watch us on YouTube as well. And if you want to listen to us and subscribe to our podcast, you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. If you can hear it, we'll be on it. Until next time, guys.
Peace.